Hey everyone, welcome to Triple V, a show dedicated towards advancing the message of a free society. I'm your host, Mike Shanklin. Today I'm joined with Cox, Dano, and Rothschild. We want to talk about passive aggressiveness. Obviously, we are against aggression in theory. Well, let's talk about it. I want Rothschild to go ahead and lead us in, and we'll all respond after Rothschild. Go ahead, Rothschild.
Sure. Based on my experiences dealing with people, one of the things that I've discovered is that people don't mind hurting you or your feelings or whatever. They just don't want to. They don't want to be there when it happens. So, like in my experiences, for instance, when I've gone on dates and a woman doesn't want to go on a second date with me, she'll just ignore, my phone calls. Why? Because she doesn't want to hurt my feelings? I'll figure out she's not interested in me eventually. I don't mind hurting your feelings, I just don't want to see the reaction to what that causes. If someone doesn't want to hire you for a job, they're not going to write you a letter saying, sorry, we're not interested. They're just going to ignore you. And I think that is a common, unfortunately, human trait. I don't care about hurting your feelings. I don't care about causing you pain. I just want to see the consequences that result from this. And I think this is sort of related to the state and its appeal, that you could do bad things without having to do them directly.
Now, I want to bring up a little dichotomy here. Obviously, there's the legal sense, and then there's kind of like an economical realm. So, in essence, passive aggressiveness. Nobody here is saying that you should be tackled and thrown in a cage. It's not technically. It's not a crime. You haven't infringed on anybody else or their property. But what we're saying is, it comes down to a point when there's just good strategy in life and politeness and things like that. And I think this goes into the ethical realm even farther than just a non-aggression principle. And I know Stefan Molyneux has talked about passive aggressiveness, and he basically says it's a horrible type of mentality. And I agree with what you're saying.
Very immature. It's very, very immature.
No, I want to get some clarity.
Extremely immature.
I want to get some clarity here, if we can. Are we talking about being passively aggressive with one another as being peaceful individuals? Or are we talking about being passively aggressive against something, some entity called the state government that is basically aggressing against us? That's what I'd like to get clear first. Against each other?
The first one.
Against each other?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and this isn't really looking at the state. This is looking at passive, not resisting the state, but just in between you and I as human interactions. For instance, if somebody does say, like on Daniel Rothschild's date, if they say, I might call you up tomorrow. I guess it's not passive aggressive to be like, well, I don't know. Give us an example from maybe one of your dates that you've had, Rothschild.
Let's look at it through Wikipedia, if we may. Passive-aggressive behavior is the indirect expression of hostility, such as through procrastination, hostile jokes, stubbornness, resentment, sullenness, or deliberate repeated failure to accomplish requested tasks for which one is often explicitly responsible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Dana, you want to add something?
Going along with what Daniel was saying, I just personally view passive aggressiveness as someone just being a spineless human being to just not be upfront and honest with someone. If this woman didn't want to go on a second date with him, she just says, look, I think you're a great guy, I just don't see us being a couple or anything, so but I'd like to be friends, and it was great going on a date with you, instead of just totally blowing him off or making up some kind of lame excuse.
And she doesn't even have to say we have to be friends if she's not interested in me seeing me. You could just say, listen, I'm not interested, right? There's no harm in telling someone you don't like them. No one's required to like people.
Yeah, exactly.
And you don't even need to be abrasive about it either. It's just, hey, here's the fact. Here's where my preference lies, and it's just different than what you have brought to the table. And that's it. We go our separate ways, and everything's peaceful. But
better than ignoring a person and pretend they don't exist. Like that doesn't matter.
Completely agree. Anybody else wants to add before we go? All right. Thank you guys so much.
I want to add something.
Go ahead, James.
Show me that T-shirt, because I think it's awesome. No, I'm serious.
Here you go.
Later, James.
That's awesome, man.
Radical idea, you own yourself.
That's correct.
And that is not passive aggressive. All right, guys. I'm out of here. Have a great day.
Right.
Thanks, everyone.
You too.